Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Improve Podcast, the official podcast of CLSC Studios. I'm your host, Chase Collins. Thank you so much for joining me on this lovely Monday morning. For those of you who are new here, we are building a community of people who are creatives at heart, but also have other stuff going on in their lives. And right now, those creative hobbies are just that. They're hobbies. And whether you're a working professional, a full-time parent, or a full-time student, or anything in between, the thing we all have in common is that we have creative goals that we want to, hold ourselves accountable for. And that's sort of how I use this podcast, is sort of an accountability tool for myself. I send out all of the projects that I'm working on into the ether on this podcast, on the radio waves live on air, and that way I have to keep up with them week to week, and I can report back to you all whether or not I'm accomplishing them or not, and hopefully that's motivating to you, and you can use this podcast. Every time I provide an update on a goal, you're providing an update on a goal for yourself, or you're keeping track of the goals that you've set, or so on and so forth. And then hopefully by the end of this thing, we've all accomplished something at the end of the day. That's the goal. Yeah, so if that interests you, or you think you could benefit from having a community like this, then keep on listening. For those of you who are doing that, how are your goals going? Do you have a goal for this week? Have you set a goal for this week? Did you accomplish your goals for this week? I know that I've been gone for a minute, so you've had 2 weeks to work on stuff, eh? If you want to give me an update on any of those types of things, I'd love to hear about it. Shoot me an email at theimprovepodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to hear about them. Be super stoked to hear from you all. This week is obviously another solo episode. We're staying strong with our solo episodes. I've also been gone for a little bit, so I'm going to provide an update on where I've been here shortly. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and roll the intro music, and we can go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty. Also, there's time codes below if you want to jump around and skip to your favorite section of the podcast, so feel free to use that. All right, I'll be back in just a hot second.
Improve Podcast. Improve Podcast. Improve Podcast.
Yowzas. Hello, everyone. Man, it's good to be back. I've missed that intro music. I hope you have too. I do, first off, want to kick this off. I apologize for being away for the last 2 Mondays, seemingly out of nowhere. I'll get into where I have been, but first I want to provide a quick, not a litmus test, but hey, here's where we left off status report, right? So last time we talked, I had just finished this huge writing sprint in order to submit to my writers group sort of open call for great scripts. I still haven't heard back from them, but I am, exercising patience. I'm sure I'm going to hear back soon enough, and hopefully it's good news, or, whatever. I have no idea what to expect from it, but I'm just excited either way to, get some feedback on this sucker. So yeah, that was where we left off. I was sort of maybe on the cusp of being burnt out, but then I vanished out of nowhere for 2 weeks, and where have I been, right? Well, I was on vacation. How about that? I feel like I say that a lot. I feel like I go on a lot of vacations, but yeah, so my family, they came down to visit me here in Florida. We did a little beach vacation, which turned into visiting, fun activities here in Florida, like Disney Springs, SeaWorld, and all of that fun stuff for young kiddos, right? My sister was in town with her children, and so we got to have some fun, and that was just the best ever. The reason why I didn't mention that was because I thought I was going to be able to record episodes while everyone was here and in and out and everything like that, and I was just silly. It was kind of a little foolish of me to expect that I'd be able to record while there's family and toddlers running all around the house and everything like that. So didn't get anything recorded, and I also didn't do anything other than just hang out with my family, so I didn't really have anything to talk about. So kind of goals went on pause for 2 weeks. Even like my super secret project, which I've been teasing for the last couple of months, or at least the last month or two. So yeah, kind of everything went on pause so I could just, recuperate, recover, just have fun, reconnect with the family. It was just the best time ever. Seriously, I love them, and I'm so glad that they were able to come down and hang out. But yeah, now, so I'm back from vacation. I am full steam ahead on my super secret project. I had to take a break from that, but now boom, I hit the nose to the grindstone, and I am ready to, finish that super secret project. I'm also ready to get back to writing again, which is kind of what I want to talk about. Last time we talked, so I've pivoted like 3 times in the last couple of weeks or months at least, or last month. I've pivoted 3 times, which is frustrating, right? So let's recount all the times I've pivoted just for fun, so we know that these goals are flexible and you're not wrong for changing your goals, or at least I can convince myself that that's the case. Maybe I am wrong for pivoting so many times, but hey, things come up and things happen, and you gotta change goals every now and then. You can't be mad at yourself for that. Okay, so what happened was I did a huge rewrite of my animated feature called Touch, which was just a huge writing sprint. I totally burnt myself out from doing that. It was a lot of work. And then I took a break. I finished that. I sent it out to all my friends and family to, read and provide feedback and such. And then I pivoted from that and started working on a new feature, which is a really ambitious project that I was really wrestling with, like my motivation for wanting to tell this type of story. So I spent a lot of time working on that. I finally got to a point where I felt confident enough to start outlining it, right? Like I didn't even want to entertain the idea of outlining a story like this until I knew that my heart was in the right place for writing it. So once I wrestled through that, and I wrote like a 5-paragraph essay on why I thought this was a good story, an important story to tell. And so I got through that, and I was like, yes, I'm ready to start really outlining. I'm so excited. And then I learned about my writers group's open call for great scripts, and I was like, whoa, I have a great script that's like just a little bit, it just needs a little bit of feedback, a little bit of tweaking, and then it's going to be perfect. So I immediately started pivoting and rewrote Touch again. So I did like a major rewrite that took me 3 months, and then I did another major rewrite, but I had to condense like 3 months of work into 2 weeks of work. So that was another pivot. So I went from Touch to ambitious new project, back to Touch, and now I submitted it to the writers group, waiting on feedback, and now I don't want to pivot back to my ambitious new project. I want to pivot to something a little bit more chill. And so then that's what I've pivoted to, is now writing this comedy feature. So that's, how many pivots is that? Like 4 or 5 pivots in the last week or whatever? So yeah, lots of pivots in the last couple of 5 weeks or whatever. Lots going on, but that's kind of where I'm at right now, is I'm ready to start writing this high school comedy feature. Or at least I'm ready to start working on that project a little bit. I know a couple of months ago I spent some time sort of outlining that rough sketch of an outline, and I still have that, but like looking back at it, I'm like, oh, this is a little boring. It's not really the story I want to tell. I need to, rejigger it to get it to be a little bit more fun and exciting for me to write. So that's what I'm sort of working on, and something, it's supposed to be fun and lighthearted and a break from writing these, like, not heavy stuff, because Touch isn't really a heavy movie, but it's certainly a heavy lift to get that to where it was. So I want something that's a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more straightforward, that I can write while I'm working on, the super secret project, if that makes sense. So, and for those of you who are writers who are listening to this, you can probably guess what I'm about to say right here. Writing anything is difficult, and especially if you want it to be good. So I'm trying to wrestle with this comedy. I'm like, dang, this was supposed to be easy, and this was supposed to be fun, and it's hard. What the heck is going on? Why is this so difficult? So I'm like, dang, Chase, like, how arrogant of you to think writing, anything would be easy. So I'm sort of eating some humble pie right now, just like, all right, Chase, if you do want to write this comedy script, it's got to be good. So I got to figure out how to do that. And I'm, writing a comedy is a little bit different than writing anything else, just like any other genre is different from any other genre. So I need to do some homework myself on, like, what makes a good comedy, what are some of the great comedies that's come out in the last 20 years. And of course, like, if you're in the writer's world or maybe a fan of cinema, like, hard R comedies have sort of been not hitting as they used to, or just like, and haven't been coming out, and that's, there's a whole podcast episode about why that is, or what's the state of comedies now in cinema. But I'm trying to, maybe do something a little fresh and different. And so if I want to do something fresh and different and good, I really need to do some homework on that. So that's sort of what I was doing this week, was researching like what makes a great comedy. How can I do that? I've also been struggling with the story a little bit, right? Like I wasn't happy with it. I need to restructure it a little bit to make it more exciting, more compelling to me. And I really think what it is like I haven't spent enough time with these characters to know the type of story that I want to tell. So yeah, I'm working through all of that. I'm trying to think about how these characters are going to interact. What scenes do I want to really showcase their personalities with? And, I'm making progress. I'm getting more excited and more excited the more I play with this world, the more I play with these characters. And it's been a lot of fun just sort of brainstorming like ideas and scenes and sequences that are going to lead into, what is ultimately the major, conflict of the story, which honestly, saying this now, it's like, I don't even know what that is necessarily, but I know that, I want this to be good. So I'm not going to start writing until I'm confident that what I have in my outline is good, if that makes sense. So yeah, I guess, hold on. Caveat, having said all of that, right? Normally I don't start writing until I know like the exact ending of the script. I'm really a big outline guy. I love, being able to follow a script while I'm writing a script. But right now, because I do want this to be fun and a little bit more exploratory, I want this project to be a little bit more like sandboxy. I'm not sure if that's a real term in the writing world, but I want to be able to play with the world and play with the characters and the scenes and everything like that, and have fun writing it. I don't want it to be so rigid and structured. So I'm thinking of maybe writing this script without like a rock solid outline, but at least with a good idea of who these characters are. And that's what I'm starting to learn, is like comedies are driven by great characters, and all of the situations that they fall into are really character driven, not so much plot driven. So I need to explore how I can do that in such a way. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I feel like I'm a million miles away from writing this story, but I'm also feel like I'm really, really close because of all of the thinking I've been doing and brainstorming regarding these different types of characters. So we'll see. I do want to, set a goal regarding like finishing this script. I would really love to be finished by the end of October, right? So it's September 25th right now as the time you are listening to this, or if you're listening on the day of release. By the time this comes out, it's September 25th. But I would love to finish the script by the end of October, so October 31st. However, I don't know if that's really realistic because of my super secret project that I have going on. So writing a full screenplay in like a month seems difficult to me. Because of the last couple of scripts I've written have taken me like 6 months to write. So writing one in a month, probably not going to happen. So probably giving myself to the end of November would be a more realistic goal. So I think that's what I'm going to actually put out into the ether, is like, hey, end of November, let's finish this new script. That would be awesome. I think hopefully I can start writing by the end of September, right? So have a rough outline done, know who my characters are, know what makes a great comedy by the end of September, and then, start getting pen to paper in October and then finish in about 2 months. I think that's a little bit more realistic, you know what I'm saying? So we shall see. And that's really all I have to talk about today. Sorry if this is a shorter episode. I wish there was more that I could report on or provide an update to, but that's it. That's all I got. It's been 2 weeks on vacation, and then just sort of playing catch up on all of my responsibilities from like a job perspective, responsibilities from housekeeping perspective, responsibilities from all these different like lives that we all live. You got to keep them all spinning. Keep all these plates spinning, baby. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. And then obviously writing is one of my biggest passions, or if not the biggest passion I have. So got to keep writing as well. So yeah, that is about it. I do want to say thank you all for listening to me ramble. I'm sure this wasn't a very coherent episode, but I'm trying over here. Getting back in the swing of things. I'm sure next week we'll have an even better episode. Still solos. We're still rocking this solo episode string of podcasts for the time being, which I'm really enjoying. I love these solo episodes. Hopefully you don't get too sick of my voice anytime soon. If you would like to get in contact with me about your goals or projects, shoot me an email at theimprovedpodcast@gmail.com. I want to give a shout out to Green Bean for all of our musical intros and outros. And thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for leaving 5-star reviews. And with that, I do want to give one final reminder. Maybe it's a final reminder. When is October? Is October next Monday, or is that like 2 weeks from now? The first day of October is next Monday. Holy cow, the 2nd. Wow, that's insane. Okay, this is your final notice before I do the cutoff date. Go to CLSCstudios.com to sign up for the Classic Studios Newsletter. CLSCstudios.com. Go to the newsletter segment or newsletter webpage and sign up for the Classic Studios Newsletter, because the quarterly newsletter is coming out. The very first one is coming out in October, and this first one is going to be very important, and you'll never hear about it ever again. There's going to be exclusive stuff in there, so just sign up for it. I promise you, it'll probably be worth it. Maybe. We'll see. Just go sign up for the newsletter. I want to give everyone ample time, ample warning. Sign up for the newsletter. This is your last chance to be a part of from the very beginning. And so, yeah, that's all I'm saying. And I can't give away anymore. If I haven't convinced you thus far, then probably won't convince you. But go ahead, sign up. It's definitely worth it. And with that, all right, I'm gonna stop rambling. I'm gonna call it quits. And I will see you all next Monday for another episode of the Improved Podcast. I hope you achieve your goals this week. Goodbye.